Hello my dear students, welcome back to the ISC class 7 history. So today I am going to start with the Anglo-German rivalry. So before that there is one video lying in my channel, that is the conditions of Europe on the eve of 20th century. So you can go through that and understand the actual position of Europe during that time and what all factors played a very important role in creating a background for the First World War. Okay, so hope you will watch that. So let's start. So Anglo-German rivalry. So before we discuss about Anglo-German rivalry in two phases, the first thing we need to understand here is splendid isolation. That means if you go through your book, you can see that as per my book 7.2, it is mentioned Anglo-German rivalry or the Britain's abandonment of a splendid isolation. So what does it mean? So you can see here that after the end of the Crimean War in the year 1856, England foreign policy sank in splendid isolation. That means Britain completely isolated, okay, or detached herself from the European politics. That means what is happening in Europe was not bothered to Britain. So they mostly concentrated, okay, or engaged herself in a policy of expansion outside Europe. So expansion policy was followed by Britain after the end of the Crimean War. Okay. So during that period when Britain was following the policy of expansion outside Europe, Britain was least bothered about losing their political position in Europe. They were of the apprehension that their position is safe and nobody can take the number one position in Europe. Okay, but as time passed, the industrial revolution is spread to different parts of the country, right? France also became an industrial country, Russia also became an industrial country. So when they entered into the colonial race, my dear, so that posed a threat for the balance of power for Britain. Okay, so number of problems arose between Britain and France and Britain and Russia. Like there was a problem. There was a general belief that France and Russia were threat to the balance of power. France and Russia were the threat to the balance of power for Britain. Okay, for example, France and England were engaged in rivalry outside Europe, that is in Egypt and Sudan. There was a rivalry going on between France and Britain regarding Egypt and Sudan. So that was the other problem. Next problem was Russia posed a great threat to British interests in Persia, okay, Afghanistan, Tibet and the British Empire in India. So British Empire in India was the largest empire in India. So that was threatened by Russian intervention in the international politics. Okay, so due to all this reason, mostly due to rivalry between France and England, France and Russia, British government or Britain decided to give up this policy of splendid isolation. Now it is better that we give up the policy of isolation and think about securing our position in Europe and to balance the power in Europe. That is why they gave up the policy of splendid isolation. Now still we have not reached to the main topic of Anglo-German rivalry. Still we have not reached up to that. We are discussing about the background. So splendid isolation was given by England because her colonial position, okay, colonial rivalry was there with France and Russia. So most of the British statesmen, great leaders in Britain, they thought that it is the time that we need to move towards German friendship. That means we need to maintain a good relation with Germany in order to balance the power with France, Russia versus Britain and Germany. So they now wanted to move towards Germany, or the British statesmen wanted the British government to build a good relationship with Germany. Okay, that is why you can see some of the great leaders of Britain like Lord Salisbury, Lord Eldon, they were pro-Germans. They always wanted to have a good relation with Germany. Okay, and number two was that Germany was not a naval power, so there was no threat from a German side regarding the intervention or aggression. So it would be wise enough for us to maintain a good relation with Germany. So that was their mindset. They wanted to move towards German friendship so that they can balance the power in Europe with France and Russia. Okay, so whatever they are thinking over here is not known to Germany. So anyhow, with this point in mind, with all these things in mind, British government wanted to end the isolation and wanted to build a relation with Germany. Okay, so for these two missions were sent. So in 1898 Chamberlain mission was sent. In 1898 Chamberlain mission was sent to Germany, okay, which resulted in failure. And again in 1902 Helden mission also was sent. Chamberlain mission and Helden mission both was sent to Germany. Okay, why these missions were sent? To go to Germany and discuss regarding the friendship to be built up, to negotiate some sort of agreement between Britain and Germany, or very simple, in a simple sentence, they wanted to develop a very good relation with Germany. So in order to negotiate with the German leaders, these both missions were sent. So just imagine two missions. The first mission was sent in 1898, that was known as Chamberlain mission, and the second one was sent in 1902, that was Helden mission. Both this mission was completely a failure because negative attitude of Kaiser, okay, was a blow to pro-German group in England. The pro-German group in England, that they were shocked. We wanted to have a good relation with Germany, but that was overthrown. Or let us say that Germany completely refused, or we can say Germany was cold-blooded. That means they were not at all committed for any sort of friendship with Britain. Okay, so both these missions were rejected, or we can say Kaiser, that means William Kaiser, the Emperor of Germany, did not respond to these missions. Okay, so now Germany is building up its own empire, and Britain now what to do? Britain now is in trouble because Britain thought that France and Russia were threat for the balance of power. So for that I am going to be closer to Germany. From that side also Germany rejected. Okay, there are some other factors which deteriorated the relation between Britain and Germany. So which were the factors? Number one was Kaiser's wealth politic, which was followed by what was mean a wealth politic? It is a foreign policy. Okay, this foreign policy was adopted by German Emperor William Kaiser II. Okay, and the main aim through this foreign policy was to transfer Germany to a global power. They wanted to make Germany a more powerful country in the world. So for that they were working on that. Okay, so German ruling class, so even other factors were also there, like German ruling class felt that they belong to a very superior race. Okay, they belong to a very superior race, and we are born to rule. That means Nordic blood flows in our veins. So even they followed the biological theory of Lord Darwin, also we can say Charles Darwin. So there is a famous theory in biological world regarding the survival of fittest. Only the fittest one will survive in this world. So they believed in the theory of Charles Darwin. Okay, and they believed that human world, that means this idea was preached by the Germans, that in order to survive in this world we have to be the fittest country in the world over the other races. We are the superior race, we are born to rule. Okay, we are born to rule. And most of the elite group in Germany, they were becoming more and more restless under the authoritarian rule of Kaiser William. So in order to distract their mind from this type of attitude, imperialistic nature and attitudes was spread among the people, that we are going to be more and more powerful. and they even followed the expansionist policy outside Europe. Okay, so now slowly and gradually, you know that Germany also was becoming an industrial country. Industries were set up. So once industrial progress took place in Germany, they now are in need of more and more colonies. So when they entered into the colonial race, my dear, that also was reflected in the rivalry between Germany and Britain. Britain was everywhere. Now Germany also entered into the colonial race where they can capture market and sell their industrial products. So when this happened, Britain could not tolerate that. Britain did not want them to enter in the international market. So that also created a rift between Germany and Britain. Germany did not do or attack directly to Britain. They were progressing on their own, but Britain were of the apprehension that their position now is in danger. That is why the relation was becoming more and more worst. Okay, now two important causes we'll discuss, and that will be let us take that as the most important reason for the dispute between England and Germany, or this can be taken as a rivalry between England and Germany. The first one was the naval program. So when missions were, both Chamberlain mission and Helden mission, when they were sent to Germany, at that time Germany was not a naval power, but anyhow, my dear, in order to survive in this world, in order to protect its colonies, you definitely need to progress in the naval field also. So Kaiser's Admiral von Terpch, okay, von Terpitz, he was of the opinion that we need to develop our naval power. So with the help of William Kaiser and the permission from the German parliament, they started building battleships. Okay, they started building battleships which could match the British battleships. Okay, and not only that, it was made of superior technology, and they even started building a submarine. So slowly and gradually Germany is building up its navy, and that became a case of concern for Britain, because till now Germany was not a naval power, so there was no threat from German side. So when now German builds up its navy, definitely they will be rising up to the level of Britain. That is why they could not tolerate that. Okay, even they requested Germans that stop building up navy, because navy is luxury for you, and for us it is a matter of life and death. So I don't know on what basis they wanted Germany to stop this naval building, but anyhow that was rejected by William Kaiser, because William Kaiser, from the very beginning, after the unification of Germany, William Kaiser along with Otto von Bismarck and all, they wanted Germany to become more and more powerful. So they were working on that side, so they could not be stopped. Okay, so that is why naval program, which was started by Germany, also became the cause of dispute between Britain and Germany. Okay, now next point is Germany's relation with Turkey. Germany had developed a very good relation with Turkey. So even many of the armies in Turkey were given training by German trainers. Okay, and even German financiers had invested lot of capitals in Turkey. Even William Kaiser had visited Turkey in the year 1889 and 1898 twice with great fanfare. Okay, fanfare, people welcomed him. So the close relation which was built between Turkey and Germany also was a threat for the British Empire in India. They thought that if they become closer to Turkey, then that will be of great hamper for our interest in India. So they thought that our colonies are there in India, in other parts of the world, so that is going to be a great hamper for England, British colonies in India. So not only that, my dear, not only the Germans industrialists had invested capital in Turkey, but many of the Germans even supplied weapons to Turkey also. Highly sophisticated weapons were supplied to Turkey even. Okay, and Germany also wanted to build a railway. Okay, they wanted to build a Berlin-Baghdad railway connecting Berlin with Baghdad. So if that is connected, my dear, that will bring Germany closer to the British Empire in India also. That will bring Germany closer to the British interest in other parts. Okay, so this were some of the reasons, my dear. These were some of the reasons due to which the rivalry converted into a dispute, and this dispute later on became responsible for the First World War. So now one thing is very, very clear, my dear. Now to balance the power between France, Russia, they wanted to maintain a good relation with Germany, but Germany rejected it. Now what Britain will do? So Britain now moved towards France and Russia, and they, whatever problem they had between them, okay, they negotiated peace between them. In the year 1904, England and France, okay, they signed a convention which came to be known as Entente Cordiale. Whatever disputes were there between France and Britain was sorted out. And on the other hand, France had a very good relation with Russia. So with the help of France, Britain and Russia also entered into a convention which was again signed in 1904. So whatever problems, whatever dispute, whatever rivalry was there between Britain and France, Britain and Russia was sorted out, and finally they entered into a alliance. That alliance came to be known as Triple Entente. Okay, that came to be known as Triple Entente. But one thing you must understand, that it was Triple Alliance which was formed, and later on Triple Entente was formed. Okay, so Triple Alliance, the result of the Triple Alliance or the Triple Entente formed between Britain, France and Russia. Okay children, so this is all about Anglo-German rivalry and the Britain's abandonment of splendid isolation. Why did Britain give up the policy of splendid isolation? So these were some of the reasons. Okay, these were some of the reasons. Hope you all have understood it. If you have not understood, you can just comment it. Okay, but before you watch this video, you must watch the condition of Europe on the eve of 20th century, which is there in the playlist. Okay, so in the next class we'll discuss the crisis in the Balkan, that is the Balkan wars. We'll discuss about the Eastern questions in the next class. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video. So we'll meet again next class. Till then, take care, stay safe, bye bye.